to Running is Bullshit. I'm Amy.
And I'm Stewart, and you're listening to the podcast that loves to hate running. This is episode 155, and this week we're talking about squirting, bread-related shenanigans, and the hardest geezer. Oh, that's something to look forward to later on. Amy's favourite subject.
Don't get me started.
I will get you started.
We will.
Towards the end of the episode, we'll get into that. Amy, terrible news. Horrible, bad news. The Mr. Grey Sky song that I did on one of the episodes, I uploaded it to YouTube. It's now been blocked in Russia. So that's going to cause much more unrest there, I imagine. Political turmoil continues in Russia.
I think they thought, well, we've already broken the Geneva Convention several times. We don't want anything else on our record, such as providing citizens access to this monstrosity. Yeah,
I think it's a real shame. I get these kind of these alerts come through every now and then to say, like, this song or this episode is, the monetary value of this has been blocked in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. And like, okay, well, I think I'll deal with that, considering nothing is monetized on this because no one watches them. But I just enjoy these copyright alerts that come through. I'm like, okay, I think I'll deal with it.
So specific, isn't it? Like, why do they care? Why do they care about that? Maybe they've got
I have no idea. But
copyright law there.
I've no idea. But when you go around just stealing songs, as we do from YouTube for these, that's the price you have to pay.
That is very true.
I'm glad at least someone's making money off us. They are not.
Yes, right. Catch up from last episode. So Simon Lewis emailed to say London Marathon asking for £25 for a certificate to tell me I have a world record, along with 56,000 others, for completing in the world's biggest marathon. Bullshit.
Simon, you do not have a world record. All due respect, you ran a marathon. Good for you. Well done. You do not have a world record. The London Marathon has a world record. You do not.
Imagine paying £25 for that, for a certificate.
I've seen a few online.
No,
I've seen a few.
No. Why haven't they just provided people, like when you do training at work, like the compulsory training, do you ever get those where they let you print out a certificate, like you're going to frame it and put it on your office wall for doing your compulsory fire safety training?
Yeah, I've done my data protection training. Here's your little e-certificate.
And it's often like signed as well at the bottom by like the person in charge of your company or whatever, which always makes...
I'm going to put that in my record of achievement with my GCSEs that I never looked at. Amazing. Thank you so much.
I feel like this could just be a similar thing where you provide something people could just print off. Why are they being such dicks about it and charging people £25?
Because they can and because they'll make money from it. I just can't wait for people to be like, interesting fact about me. Again, at work, they'll be like, I actually have a world record. And everyone will be like, oh, wow, what's that? Well, I ran the London Marathon once. And they'll be like, okay, is that it?
God, yeah.
It's like, I don't think other sports are as needy as running is. There's attendance records at football matches or horse racing, motor racing. Each one of those people... in like the Maracanã in Brazil, they're not buying certificates, or someone at like Silverstone or something. They're not buying a certificate to say they're a part of the biggest attendance motor race or football match or whatever. Why is it just running that needs to be this way?
Because runners just collect participation trinkets, don't they? That's what they do. They collect medals. They buy
posters. Them, as we said before. You buy these things. You're not. I mean, in a way, you earn the medal, but mostly you're buying the medal.
Yeah. Medals, t-shirts, coasters, buckles. We just collect and buy shit, don't we? To say we did something.
To let everyone know that we did a thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's taking the biscuit, though.
It is. I wonder if they were tempted to do the same for the 1.1 million ballot entries. Because, again, that's been everywhere. A world record ballot. But, like, it's such a specific thing. There's not that many marathon ballots in the world. And, like, this is the biggest one. I wonder if there are people there being like, I've got a world record. There you go, 1.1 million people. You've all got a world record. Congratulations. All of you are record holders. You all did it individually. Congratulations.
Like, who cares? Like, who actually cares?
Apparently we do, because we're going to keep going on about it. we pretend we don't care, but we pretend by going on and on and on about it.
Yeah, it's London Marathon lives rent-free in our heads.
Yes, yeah. Big thank. Something we do care about. Thanks to Lisa Gibbon sharing a photo of the only BS branded water bottle in the world. So that is a world record. She owns the most BS branded water bottles out of anyone in the world. She could get herself a little certificate for that. Good for you.
Yeah, but you got to pay us 50 quid though for the certificate.
Yeah, you do have. We will send a certificate. We'll make one, and Amy will sign it. And we'll send it over.
I'll sign. Yeah, we'll have our crest on it and everything. You know.
Do we have a crest now?
Yeah.
We'll get ChatGPT to make us a crest. Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, and it'll look very official. You can put it on your office walls when you're in your Zoom calls. You've got that like framed on your office wall, and they're like, "Oh, what's your PhD in?" Well, actually, funny story.
It's my world record. I did like the photo. Shiny silver's not really on brand for us, but it is very pretty. It's a shame they didn't do black ones.
Yeah.
Speaking of black things, we're partnered with Bird and Blend Tea. That means we'll tell you what tea we're drinking. If you like the sound of it, you can go to runningisbs.com/tea, click on the links and buy some tea if you want. I had some fun this week after a mix-up with a With Me Now listener who thought I was talking about naan bread flavoured tea for various reasons. I thought I might as well make some. You know, I might as well make it a thing. I searched it. Apparently not a thing ever before done on the Google. Honestly, it was not bad. I just made black tea, loose leaf black tea with nigella seeds and black pepper, which is basically what naan bread flavour is. I very happily finished the mug. I probably could have made it a bit stronger too. And I think considering some of the weird tea a lot of people drink, I don't see why nigella seeds should be any different and why I get so much hate for this. This is not available from Bird and Blend at the moment, sadly. And they're yet to respond to my Insta reel. But you can buy yourself some delicious loose black tea, make your own naan bread tea. So you're giving me that look that everyone gives me.
Absolutely minging. That is the ultimate punishment tea.
Look, if you've had chai tea before, it's a spicy tea. It's the same thing. It's a spicy tea.
Naan bread. It's just anything to do. I don't like I haven't even tasted it, but I don't like the idea of Bird and Blend's tea and toast or whatever the toast one. Just bread. It just reminds me of soggy bread, and there's nothing worse than soggy bread.
The tea didn't taste of bread. The tea tasted of nigella seeds, which was nice.
Yeah, and I'm sure Bird and Blend's toast tea doesn't taste like bread, but it's got toast in the name. It's got a bread-based food in the name. No.
You're just thinking soggy bread, aren't you?
Not. Yeah, I'm thinking soggy bread that you feed to the ducks. Absolutely minging. No.
Okay, well, let's continue on soggy things that you can dip into tea. There's a whole new range of biscuit teas from Bird and Blend. Now, these genuinely do look good. Like, they've already got chocolate digestive, jammy dodger, ginger nut, caramelised biscuit. They can't say Biscoff, so that's what they have to call it. But they've got a couple of new ones, Oaty Crunch and Malted Milk. And to me, they are elite tier biscuits. Vastly underrated.
Nice. Yeah, and I will say, when Bird and Blend say they're going to do something milky or creamy, it does actually taste milky or creamy. And it's usually quite nice, like the butter beer. Yeah, butter brew. That's it. Butter brew is meant to be like butter beer from Harry Potter. That does taste like a bit buttery in a nice way, and the peppermint cream, it does taste a bit creamy. So I imagine the malted milk is absolutely lovely.
Yeah, I've got all 6 of those on the way, and I very much look forward to telling you all about them.
Ooh, lovely.
Amy, what have you been up to?
Not much. Haven't really been up to much. I've been on another sort of history archaeology adventure.
Oh, that's nice.
Last episode. This is becoming a theme. I might make this my theme, seeing as I'm not really doing races at the moment. I might just go and find historic remains. That sounds like a body, doesn't it? But you know what I mean. So last episode, I was talking about how I went and found those Neolithic burial chambers. I mean, they were already discovered. I didn't actually excavate them or anything, but I discovered them for me.
Keep a little trial with you just in case.
Yeah. This week, yesterday, I went to Monmouthshire, around sort of like Chepstow, Caldicott sort of way, and I went to see the Roman ruins at Caerwent on my run. So I parked at Seven Tunnel Junction, and I sort of went up through Slade Woods, which was really lovely, which is just outside of Roggett, really, really lovely woods, and up to Caerwent, which has the remains of a Roman town, which is pretty spectacular. It's one of the most intact largest Roman towns in the UK, in Europe or something. I can't remember. It's got some like claim to fame anyway for having these Roman ruins. But yeah,
Big in
I went
history
for a
then,
lovely.
that's nice.
Yeah, a bit of history. Went for a run along the Roman wall, which was really lovely. So I found some more stones. I went to see some more stones. I will say, if you live that sort of area, so between Newport and Kyle Wentway, it probably goes even further. There's the A48. I had to run just a small section of that A48, and it was horrific. It was like something out of a nightmare because it was so flat and straight. It's basically like, you know, like an A road, obviously.
Your classic Roman road.
Yeah. But with this path, this really nice wide pavement running alongside it. And when I looked on Google Maps when I was planning the route, I was like, oh, brilliant. There's this really like nice wide pavement that runs alongside this road. And originally I was going to do a bit of an out and back because some of the other country lanes looks a bit busy. So I was like, oh, I can come back the same way sort of thing. But after doing this, I don't know how long I was on that road for, but it was just horrific. You know when you feel like it just never ends? And there's no change in elevation or nothing or view because you're just literally looking down this road.
Oh yeah, it's a bit of a treadmill sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, honestly, that's how it felt. And once I got to the village, I was like, I am not going back that way. I'm just gonna have to risk it on the roads, and they were quite busy, and I did nearly lose my life. But I would rather die on this very busy country road than go back along that A road because it was absolutely horrific. It was horrific. Absolutely awful. I think it's because as well, like on the weekend, I usually go out and either do like a proper trail run on trails or at least do like varied country lanes, which are like nice things to see, bit of elevation. It was just like flat and straight for what felt like miles. I'm sure it wasn't even a mile.
I just looked at your Strava. I think it was like less than 10 minutes.
No, really.
It was not
Honestly,
much.
then, it was like a time warp. Then it was absolutely horrific. So yeah, if you live in that area, and you probably know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's got a bit of a reputation. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just being weird. But yeah, it absolutely lost the will to live on that. But otherwise, it's really nice. The Roman ruins at Kai Wen. I think this is going to be becoming a bit of a thing for me. Going and seeing archaeological, historical sites of interest on my runs. I think that's what I'm going to do.
Good for you.
Free. Yeah. Anyway, what have you been up to?
Well, I listed all those things that I had to do on the last episode. It's been a busy few weeks. I'll go through it fairly briefly. Did some orienteering. That was really good fun. I did not lose my temper. That was very nice. And I finished 5th in that one. I enjoyed that one because that mostly stayed within the park. Last time I did this orienteering event at this park, it went way out into different park and I had to run down loads of roads, and obviously all just the quick people overtook me. But this I could just straight line through bushes. I did jump over a wall, so that's always a good thing in orienteering. I also spent 5 hours out marking a half marathon course. That was a good long day. It gets very complicated. It's a lot of thinking to do as well as being out and obviously doing all the running as well. Absolutely knackered by the end of it. Really hot day. I spent the whole day dreaming of this bakery. Back where we were going to finish, there's a really nice bakery. I used to live near it. I used to spend all of my money there, and I spent the whole time thinking I'm going to get a fucking massive loaf of bread for like £5 because I don't give a shit anymore. I'm going to get a sausage roll. I'm eating that in my van straight away. I'm going to get cakes. I'm going to eat that for the next couple of days. By the time I got there, it was closed. Of course it was, because it was like 3 o'clock and they just sell out really quickly because it's such a good place. So I had to go to Co-op, and even worse, it was Co-op at about 3 o'clock, so it was full of fucking school children who were just eating everything out of the bakery section, and they were just in there, and I just didn't like them because I don't like being in the same building as children. It upsets me.
And doesn't Co-op have like nothing on the shelves at the moment because they've had a massive cyber attack?
Oh really? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Well, maybe it's solved by now, but I've been seeing sort of videos.
I just assumed it was all the children who apparently all have money now. They could just go in and buy things.
Oh.
Disgusting. After I marked the course the day after, I obviously went and worked on that race, and it all went pretty smoothly. I was the one driving around, setting up checkpoints and trying to look out for people. I got 2 calls because my number's on the race pack. 2 people gave me their what 3 words location because they got a bit lost. They wanted a bit of help to get back on course because it's part of the thing that we do. They gave me what 3 words. One of them was in Oxford.
What?
And the other one was
I thought you meant the person was in Oxford.
well, that's according to their what three words, that's where they were. And as I discovered, the default option on what three words, if you don't actually get it to set your location, is the Magdalen Bridge in Oxford. And they literally told me they were on a bridge in Oxford. I'm just like,
Oh my god.
yeah, but if you weren't on a bridge, why are you telling me, oh, my phone says I'm on a bridge? But like, you must know you're not on a bridge over a river. And I couldn't. The other one was in Nebraska, so no idea what was going on. I double checked the words. Yep, these are definitely the three words. I'm like, well, you're in Nebraska, so I can't help you. Then they said where they actually were. They were on the race route. I said, just wait 30 seconds and someone will run past you, because I'm in that wood as well, a little bit further down. There's loads of people going, just follow the next person you see who's running. So that was very strange. People generally, I think they just panic and they've got a number, so they just call. And like, if they just stop for like a minute and look around a little bit, they pretty much generally always find their way back. So that was good. I had to be in this wood. I wasn't planning to be there. I had to leave my checkpoint where I was helping out in one of the forest sections. Someone just took down all the tape, because in this particular forest, we didn't put up signs, which we usually do in most of the other part of the course. We just put up tape. We didn't want to damage the trees. We don't want to kind of do anything like that. We don't want anything that, even semi-permanent there. We put up a load of tape on the trees to guide people through the woods, and it was all taken down. And as people were getting to the checkpoint, people were like, I got really lost in the woods. There's no marking. I was like, isn't there? No. I was like, well, shit, I better get back there and find out. So I had to like drive down there, run through the woods. Luckily, like right at the bottom of this, when there was one turn that people have to take or they'll get a bit lost, those signs were up. We had a few signs there on a fence. They were up, but all the tape through the forest wasn't. So it was kind of okay. So I had to run down there, and then kind of backup came to relieve me, to direct them and relieve me so I could go off and do other things. But it's just weird that someone took down all this tape. And they didn't just like throw it in the bushes. They'd taken it away and put it in a bin. They must have done. But there were still a few signs like stapled to a fence. So I'm like, what? You didn't want to take those down, but you want to take away all the tape. And especially like this is a managed forest as well. There's quite often felling work there. So there's bits of it will be closed off and there'll be, work done. And like, if you see tape for a thing, red and white tape, you would think that's an official thing, but someone's gone, no, this is litter. I'm going to take it all down. I had permission to be there and everything, so don't know, weird.
I just don't get what. In some ways, like you say, if you found it dumped somewhere, you'd think, oh, it's
I can kind of understand that weirdly.
Yeah. It's just often it's kids, being silly, or adults is a bit stranger, isn't it? But somebody putting something in the bin, I guess, either thinking they're doing the right thing or they're just pissed off that there's a race going on and they see it as litter, like you say. It's just weird, though. But
they didn't take away the kind of the more permanent ones, which is strange. Anyway, that's just how people are. But yeah, all went very well. No one got really lost. So that was nice. Everyone had a lovely day. I made my successful managerial debut in running, which I didn't think really was a thing. That turns out it is. The Caerphilly 10K, I managed the South Wales team. We were racing against the other regions of Wales. Our men finished in first place and our women were second. We had 12 runners, people from 8 different clubs. And it was just really nice just to see people. They all kind of, people were meeting on that morning and then they went out warm up together in their kind of matching kit. And that's very nice. And there's people that I kind of recognise, I think probably everyone has this, if you kind of run for long enough in your local area, you just recognise so many people. And sometimes it's like, I've known this person's face for about 10 years, but I've no idea who they are because I've just never got around to speaking to them. So I got to meet a few of those people and say hello and actually learn their names. So that was very, very nice. I also had a 1 mile race, a good result, beat a child, that's the main thing. 1 mile race is always really hard to pace, and I always feel like I need to do a few of them to get into it. But this might be the only one I can do this year. I can't find another one, it's really difficult. So I did manage to do a sprint finish, which I don't like doing sprint finishes because they're hard, but I beat a child, so it was okay. But the weirdest thing about this one is, I assume it must be, it was quite warm, not massively, but I assume it must have just been really dry, because at the end, everyone was coughing. Like, I could barely talk because I was coughing so much. And at any one time, probably half the finishers around me, there's about 80 people that did it. At any one time, about half of those people were coughing. It was just so strange. I've never heard anything like it after a race.
Oh. Like, was it, what, was it on pavement?
It was like a tickly throat cough. Yeah, it was in the park, on pavement. I don't know whether it was the dryness. I think I looked, the humidity was maybe 45%, which I guess is pretty dry. But it's just so strange running all this time. I know obviously a 1 mile race is very hard. I don't know if it was pollen or if there was something in the air in the park that day, or there was no barbecues, there was nothing, there was no smoke or anything as far as I could see. But it's just I could barely get out a couple of words without just like having a really nasty tickly throat cough. It was really strange.
It's very odd.
Yeah, never heard anything like it.
It's the government doing those with planes going over. What do they call it when people think those like?
It was chemtrails. Yeah, it was probably chemtrails.
Chemtrails.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it was probably that. Actually, now I think about it, that does make the most sense. Thanks,
that I mean, there's no other logical explanation.
It's you know how birds aren't real. It's probably the birds. They've probably put chemtrails on the so-called birds now as well.
Yeah. Oh,
it's probably that.
Yeah, exactly. It's turn the frogs gay and all that sort of thing. We know what's
absolutely
happening.
Yeah, so I am keeping an eye for any symptoms for the next few days, just in case. I also did play football. We won, which was nice, but it ruined my weekend of running. I had all these plans. I do think my intentions for running probably do make me fitter. Like if I'd done I think all of us, again, are guilty of it. If we all did the runs we intended to do, we would be fucking brilliant at running. Because I was like the day before, I was like, I'm going to run to park run over some hills. I'm going to do park run. I'm going to run home. Again, nice hilly, like 13, 14 miles. That would be good fun. The evening before, I changed that to, I'll drive like a third of the way there and I'll do a slightly shorter to and from. On the morning, I drove to park run and I drove back. I didn't do any other running that day. But like, if we did the runs that we intended to do, all those runs that we planned, all those routes we've got planned, saved in our phones and our watches that we haven't done, we'd be good runners.
Oh, I like obsessively collect routes. I'm like, this would be great. Yeah, this could make me really fit. And never do them. Just do the same routes over and over again.
A really frustrating thing on a Coros watch, not just how the charger is complete shit, but you can load routes onto it for navigation, and you can select a certain few that are like your live ones that you can scroll through. But then you can't delete them. They kind of get archived essentially. So in the app, I've got about 50 routes on there. Like some of them are like one-off things I put on 2 years ago, but I can't delete them out of there. They're just all there forever. So if I want to find one of my old routes, I have to scroll through these like 50 different routes. And it's just, I saw a ticket on the website from a couple of years ago saying, why can't we delete these? And they're like, that's a good idea. We'll be working on that. I'm like, you're not though, are you? How can you not delete things? It just seems such a basic fundamental thing to just remove a thing that you don't need anymore. It's like it doesn't make any sense.
You might need that route. You don't know. They're protecting you. You might think, shit,
I wish
I had deleted that route that was in Spain 10 years ago.
How many people with their obsessive route making have probably got hundreds in there, and it must be so annoying.
Probably me. I've probably got that many. Like I said, I just collect routes. Like if anyone's run something on Strava, I'm like, I'm taking that. And then it feeds through to Coros. Yeah, mine, I'm taking that. Just pirating people's routes. And then they see like on Strava or something that looks very similar to a route they've done. And I seem like a complete stalker.
It's totally normal. Totally fine behavior.
Yeah.
So that's been my fairly busy 2 weeks.
Very busy. So you can support Stewart having a fairly busy 2 weeks by going to patreon.com/running is bullshit and donating money every month. Thank you to Ivor Hewitt last time, who took on the Patreon song to critical acclaim and only some minor confusion as to what on earth the song was.
Still not
No, I don't really know.
Do you know what I mean? I happened to look back. I was just curious about this, and I'm pretty sure I did the first Patreon song for episode 52. So that means we have done about 100 of these now. I think we didn't for the live episode. We didn't for like the live stream episode. So we've done about 100 of these now.
Could you imagine
just did it live
on the live episode
in a little cafe, just
with a full band.
Oh yeah, we should have got a full band, and we could have gone.
A la Jules Holland, so.
We could go. There is a bandioki place in Cardiff, isn't there? I'm sure they would have played something for us.
Yeah, could you imagine that? Me fucking it up every and the first take would have been the best one, but I would have wanted to do it 10 more times just in case, progressively getting worse and worse.
Yeah, we absolutely will not practice it. We'll just blag it on the day. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Blagging it this time is not me or Amy. It is the turn of Amanda Murray Hind, who's now on Patreon. Is actually Amanda Murray Hind, because of a joke from With Me Now, a different podcast. And I delete all the extra hinds every single time, and it always slightly annoys me. So she offered to do this the other week. I said, yes, go for it this week. And she asked me about 12 questions. She spent about half an hour with a to and from saying, what do I do? And how do I do that? Do they need to be in this order? What kind of song? What have you got a list of songs that you've done? I'm like, no, of course we haven't. We're not that organised. So And she hasn't sent it to me yet by the time we record. So hopefully there'll be something in after this. Otherwise, I guess I'll have to blag out something really quick this evening. So that'll be fun.
Amanda, get on it. What are you doing? You should be like me, really organised, doing it a week in advance and practising.
So we've definitely got this from Amanda to say thank you to all of our other patrons. Go Ryder, Anthony Howcat, Williams, Alice Newstead, Ian Thompson, Penny Simpson, Tony Boyle, Debbie Hurley, Daniel Brawley, Denton Spencer, Aldred, Matt, Catherine, Francis Howell, Len Martin, Nicky, Genders, Claire, Dina, Victoria, Dick, Tony Bells, Taryn, Milligan, Donna, Julia Page, Shari, Lachlan, David, Owen, Ruth, KP, Derry, Richard Wilmore, Raymond Quinn, Brian Simpson, Paul Hipp, Steve Robson, Tony Howells, Martin, Captain, Victoria, Cousins, Chris Whitmore, Ruth Perkins, Lisa Gibbon, Andy Nichols, Gail Seal, Angela Foster, Swales, Matt, Lisa and Shaw, Rachel Bentley, Rich Skirm, Stewart, Stephen Rearwicks, AP Ian Hales, HB Claire Davis, Tom Walker, Matt, Ruby Cabby, Thomas Nair, Andy Robbins, Elliot Line, Liz Reese, Amanda Murray, Hind, Elizabeth Shaban, Fergus, Mark, Willis, Matt H, Victoria, Magnus, Jonathan Carter, Kevin Scott, as it turns out, Amanda didn't do this. So here I am, late at night, recording this, ready for it to go out in the morning. It's quite a long time, some of this. Let's hope there's time left. Jones, Cheryl Curran, Steve Big, Erica Varys, Nicky Jones, Jason Spinks, Larry Warren, David Yellow, Mag, Tita Cat, Everard, Jay Hells, Karen Hamilton, Kihara Evans, Sherry Gresham, Bollig Adult, Charlie Neverson, Bill Bernadette, McCarthy, Matt Burrow, Sandra Heinzel, Drew Edward, Sophie Jacks, Karen Blade, Janny Temsari, Jesse Yoski, Gregory C, Abigail Leewood, Graham Hackland, Ivor Hewitt. Nailed it. Oh, love when that happens. Well, that either was brilliant or was not or was me. So that'll be fun for me to find out later. Don't forget to get in touch with your running bullshit on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. You can just search Running is BS. Let us know what you particularly hate running this week and give us some of that sweet, sweet content. We had an email from Elle. He says, I have some bullshit content from my race at Caerphilly 10K today for the podcast. So literally just as me and my running buddy crossed the start line, somebody dropped their gel. It got stood on and we got squirted with gel. So we had a very sticky 10K. Then at 4K, whilst on a closed road section, I had two motocross bikes come straight towards me. I usually seem to attract bikes, but motorbikes is a first. I'm surprised I've never heard of being squirted with a gel before. Surely I thought that must happen a lot, but I don't think I've ever seen it or heard of it.
Oh, and it must be bad because gels must be the stickiest substance on earth.
And that was a hot day as well. They would have been that would have dried on you and stayed sticky. Yeah. Oh, that would have been rough.
Whenever I have a gel, even though I'm pretty sure I haven't actually got any of the gel on my hands are sticky.
Yeah,
and absolutely. I'm pretty sure I haven't touched the gel whatsoever, but I still end up with sticky hands. So I can't even imagine how getting actual gel all up your leg or whatever, how sticky that is.
But just being sprayed with it from being stood on. Oh, it must happen a lot, and I'm surprised I don't hear about it more, but that's really horrible.
Yep. Also, motorbikes, yeah, that sucks.
Well, it's Caerphilly, it's fine. Actually, I did get a little bit sticky on my run this morning. I did accidentally touch a little bit of anti-vandal paint, because it turns out, just because they put some fences up to block me, just from going on some, private land. God, there's a nice little reservoir near me, and I sometimes run round it, and it seems they've put some fences up now. So I kind of got round the first fence, and I thought, that'd be fine. And I got to kind of usually where I exit, and they put up more fences and like a big pole, anti-vandal paint. So I kind of had to go climb my way around it. I won't go there again, to be fair, but I'm just like, it's a nice little place I like to run. But so I did end up with like this black stickiness all over my hands and arms. That was good.
Yes, the deterrent worked.
Yeah, fair enough, fine, whatever.
Ivor Hewitt said, on the subject of danger cows, so this is after last week I was talking about coos. He said, we have a local field that me and Cara call the Danger Cow Field. And when we plan a run, it will, for example, be, okay, we could come back through Danger Cows. One time running through there was a large hand-painted sign with the immortal words, Danger Cows. It's very funny. And obviously it stuck, along with much giggling and singing, Danger Cows, etc. to the tune, Danger Cows, to the tune of Spider-Man. That's brilliant. Yeah, Danger Cows. Danger. Should there be
you would have to go with that.
A comma? Danger Cows.
Or danger exclamation mark cows. They need something.
Cows. Yeah.
Danger colon. A colon would work there as well nicely. But yeah, of course, that is always Danger Cows.
Yeah, maybe that's actually intended though. Danger cows. Like
Danger Mouse.
Dangerous cows. Yeah.
Cows
all cows
danger.
are danger cows. They're all danger cows.
Oh, that's another reason I kind of went this route today through the trespassing, because the field I usually go through had some cows in and some very small, tiny, cute calves. So I'm like, I looked at that and think, well, probably won't be going through that field for a while. So I kind of had to hop a few fences to go a different way.
Yeah, it's hard
fine.
now.
Yeah. Andy Robbins says, hello, Stuart and Animal Whisperer Amy. I'm catching up on episodes and just heard about the lamb rescue, which I found amusing to note the once-in-a-lifetime thing coming from someone who lives in Wales. Yeah, no. Anyway, I thought I'd take the chance, to share something decidedly not BS that really made me happy to read, brackets, sorry. The organisers of the Harting Multi-Terrain 10, including the following line in their most recent email. In line with our commitment, we have recycled some of last year's financial surplus to reduce this entry fee by £2. It's not something you hear very often. He said, in a time of rising costs and cutbacks, I wholeheartedly salute lists runners for this. Apologies again for sending something that isn't BS. I'll do my best to fall into a hedge and shit myself or something similar ahead of the next episode. Well, thank you very much.
Good. Yeah, thank you. Try and schedule that shit before the next episode. Yeah, I mean, very, very rarely do you hear of a company saying, we've got a financial surplus, so we're going to basically give it back to you. Wow.
I mean, often, if you make some more money the year before, you think, well, you'll reinvest it, you'll buy some new equipment, or you'll spend it in some useful way, or put it back. This is by the sound of it, a running club as well. So you think, we'll reinvest that into the club and get some stuff. But they've gone, no, we'll hang on to it. We'll reduce the entry fee. Good for them.
Good race organisers are more likely to do their races again. Like if they're doing stuff like this, it's about the brand. It's the same with Ridge Runners in South Wales. Like, I know they're not for profit. I know like the way they operate and stuff is like really on it in terms of trying to be environmentally friendly and cut down on emissions and all those sorts of things. So I'm more likely to do their races. I think if you're just mugging people off all the time, people won't want to do your events. Why would they, when there's other organisers who are treating people a lot better? Yeah, I just think
it's nice when
brands.
It's nice when they can be transparent and say where the money is being spent as well. It's like, we're making a donation here, or here's some new equipment we've bought, and that kind of thing. And that's why it's a running club race. I'll always support those.
Yeah, exactly. It's the bullshit run news. Okay, we've got some stolen running Valour. Let's see if listeners can hear the glaring outrage from this story from Runner's World. So David Hellard, we're going to name him, didn't run this year's London Marathon, but he went on an extreme quest for post-race freebies the day after the London Marathon and the day after his wife ran the course in 3 hours 35 minutes. Very good time. So he basically took her medal and he did this challenge where he found out how many freebies he could collect with the medal by showing his medal in shops and so on. So he covered 25.8 miles in 6 hours 42 minutes while consuming 20 drinks, mostly beers and Aperols. 6 pizzas, a cookie, a burger, a pudding cup, whatever that means. I think this is runner's words, so it's American, and a Greek salad.
Just to keep it light.
He also brought home 3 bath bombs for his wife after stopping at 3 different Lush shops on his run, as well as his 7th and final pizza of the day. So he estimates he received about $285 worth of food, drink, and various other swag with the medal. Stolen valor. Stolen valor.
Just a very quick minor point there. The word swag. Can we?
Swag, yeah, I don't know why.
Can that never happen again, please?
It's just swag, isn't it?
But this whole article is like, hey, look at this guy. He ran round, and here's all the great free stuff he got. There's nothing in there that says. I mean, they do say he didn't run this marathon. He's run lots of London marathons. Well, good for him. He didn't run this fucking one, though, did he? I imagine how many people, when he's shown that medal and got thing, the amount of people that would have gone, oh, you ran the marathon yesterday, well done. And he would have gone, yep, that I did. He's either said that, or he's just said, lol, no, I didn't. I'm just stealing this from you, which is what it is.
Yeah, it's it's not in like good faith, is it? It's not in the spirit of. But that said, as well, some of these big capitalist companies, take their shit. I'm all for that.
I mean, if he's running around and he's collecting it all, taking it back to his wife, who did actually run the fucking marathon, not just this man stealing all her stuff. You didn't run it. You can't just show a marathon medal. That's not the point. It's supposed to be if you ran it. It's not just having a medal. Perhaps this is why people sell their medals the day of the race. Fuck it. Yeah, if you can sell the medal and other people buy it and run around stealing pizzas. It's weird.
Yeah. It's not the flex you think it is, bro. It really isn't. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stolen
I just can't get over the amount of time someone would have gone, oh, well done yesterday, and they would have gone, yeah, no problem. It was good.
It's so weird, isn't it? You've got to be some sort of psychopath to be okay with that. But like I said, I'm also of the opinion, if some big multinational company is going to give you a free pizza, like, take that shit. Take it.
Yeah, I guess
whatever. So. Fuck them. Eat the rich. Take the pizza.
Eat the rich, indeed. Amy, great news. Tinder has revealed the perfect pace to keep for a running date. Don't worry, everyone. Set your watches. Tinder's Soulmates Run Club is a collaboration with... Oh, sorry, I just had a shiver. Run down my spine, just reading that. It's a collaboration with the training app Runner, not for much longer probably, aimed at helping singles meet each other. Running has become one of the top tag interests on Tinder profiles, and mentions of parkrun in bios have jumped by a whopping 90% between March 2023 and March 2025. Nearly 30% of Gen Z singles say they feel more confident during activity-based dates, and 45% think traditional sit-down dates feel too much like job interviews. Tinder turned to Andrew Jones, a professor of applied psychology at the University of Exeter. His task was to identify a pace that keeps the vibe fun, flirty and sweat-free. And the magic number, as it turns out, this is what you've all been waiting for, 12.1 minutes per mile, which is about 730 kilometres. According to Professor Jones, this moderate pace is perfect for keeping the heart rate elevated enough to trigger those feel-good endorphins without tipping into heavy breathing or drenched shirt territory. Basically, it's fast enough to feel energizing, but slow enough to hold a conversation. And this professor, as far as I could tell, the way he did this was basically just looking at the average park run time. And for women, that's about 36 minutes. And then he took it down a little bit to make it 12. And then I guess he added the 12.1 to make it look like he'd done some research. But thank God they got a professor to do this.
I really hope this wasn't actually like funded research, and rather they just gave him a call and said, what do you think? And they've sort of, because what, like...
I know, I hope he was paid. I hope they said, right, we'll give you a few grand to do this research.
Because, yeah, like anyone could fucking tell you that. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I really hope they just rang him up and asked him to comment rather than. I hope he didn't have to go through like his university's ethics board to get this research signed off and write a lengthy proposal just to say that it's at a pace where you can talk and not swear.
And who's the funder? It's Tinder. And some like 150-year-old would be like, "What's Tinder?" Well, it's an app for people who want to fuck, basically. Isn't it dating? Yeah, not really. It's not. I don't think that's really what it's for. But don't worry, we've got a professor of applied psychology to tell us what a moderate pace is.
I have so much to say about this. I think we briefly touched on this with Beth and Taylor Swain about the whole dating apps and running and how it can be a bit dodgy. I don't know. It makes me a bit uncomfortable. It's that sort of don't shit where you eat. Of course, people will naturally meet other people, doing their hobbies, like that's where a lot of couples meet, but sort of orchestrating it like this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like an old person now and I'm not down with time. But this is the other thing to say as well. Like this whole you've got to do some sort of like activity, and the traditional sort of dates like going for a coffee feel like a job interview. If it feels like a job interview, that's the reason why you're not being very successful with your dates. It shouldn't feel like a job interview. It shouldn't be one person asking the other person fucking questions like a job interview. What's wrong with having a coffee and just talking to each other and having a conversation? I feel like, again, I'm gonna sound like an old, like I'm sort of like, oh, kids these days, but this is like the COVID generation dating, isn't it? It's those people who were probably like at the beginning of the pandemic were in their late teens when they were learning how to socialize like adults, and they haven't learned how to socialize in person without doing some like crazy activity. And I am very aware now that I do sound like, okay, boomer, but like, do you know what I mean? I don't understand like why people are uncomfortable going for a coffee and having a chat with somebody. Why do you have to be going for a run? Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. But maybe that's me. I don't get, like, if somebody's like, oh, let's go like an activity on a date. It's like, what are we, 10? Why do we need an activity? I don't know you, bro. Why can't we just have a talk? Why can't we just get to know each other? I don't want to be trapped in an hour-long run with some random. But what are you talking about? Like,
you're going to have to increase from 12.1 minutes a mile. You have to just get quicker. Let's just get it done.
Yeah.
Oh, like, why don't we pick up the pace?
Like in a coffee shop, you can climb out the old sort of climb out the bathroom window, or say, oh, let me just like, and then run away if it's going south. What are you supposed to do if you're in the woods somewhere going for a run? What do you do? How do you get away? Thank God I'm married and I don't have to deal with this bullshit, because park run in your profile, red flag, cult. Park run in a profile, one to avoid. Like, oh, because like I don't do park run. You just know every Saturday morning they're gonna be like, let's go park run. I'll be like, no, like, oh, but it's really good. It's not right. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the park run cult every single week. No.
Well, hands up, everyone who Amy is swiping left on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I had to kind of remember which one it was then. Yeah. Never mind. Sorry, Amy. You're not attracting me or the rest of us. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, and and I've said this before. Like, I am not interested. I wouldn't. Sorry, I don't say I'm not interested in dating other runners. I'm definitely not. I have a wife. But if I didn't have a wife, I don't want to date somebody that runs. Runners are absolutely fucking insufferable. And I want to be the only insufferable person in the relationship. There can't be two of us. There isn't space for two insufferable people in the relationship.
Not room for that much ego.
No, exactly. And who's going to make me a bath when I'm out on a run? Who's going to start the bath running? We can't both. Who's going to run the bath if you're next to me fucking running? Get back home. You'd be at home. You'd be getting that hot tap going, ready for the bath. Like, no.
Get the dinner on the table when I'm back. Thank you. That's what Amy's all about.
I want the bath running. I want pizza in the oven. You're not going to be able to do those things if you're next to me. Get yourself home. Get back in the kitchen.
Now we've got Amy nice and unexpectedly wound up. Let's hit this last story.
Oh God. So, actually, the Tinder one wound me up. It always winds me up when I hear about this bullshit. This one's made me happy. The internet has questions. This is the headline. The internet has questions about the hardest geezers run across New Zealand. So, this is an absolutely brilliant article from the Marathon Handbook.
This is Amy's story of the year already, guaranteed.
Oh, I'm so happy. I can't fucking stand the hardest geezer. I think he is insufferable. I don't like how he's built his whole brand around this awful, like, macho, like, I'm the hardest geezer and I just do really tough things. And I can't quite put my finger on it, actually. I can't really define why I hate it so much. But it's this, like, awful sort of, like, yeah, we just do hard things and we're like, really tough men and all this.
I've seen it described as tongue-in-cheek kind of character, but I'm like, I think it is only
No.
partially tongue-in-cheek. I think there's a little bit of knowingness to it. There's a little bit of self-awareness, but there's a lot that I don't think is either.
No, because he's just buying into this overarching narrative that men just have to like get on with things. And he's probably, I don't know, but he's probably the same guy that goes on about, oh, there's like a mental health epidemic among men. I'm like, yeah, because of people like, I don't want to say that, but it's part of the issue. This whole like, oh,
Tough it
we're
out.
really, and even if it is tongue in cheek, this whole like, yeah, well, we just got to get on with things, and we've just got to run miles every day, and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, you're feeding into the problem. You're not actually changing the narrative, because what actually needs to happen is the narrative needs to be changed. The narrative needs to be changed from you just need to get on with things and you just need to toughen up. That is actually the issue. That's the issue that makes it fucking toxic for men and women, you know? I hate it. I hate that sort of toxic attitude. I don't care if it's tongue-in-cheek. There's no place for it to be tongue-in-cheek when we know that that men are suffering within this, you know, with this whole mental health crisis. Women are suffering within it because it's just feeding into the patriarchy that says these men are big and tough, or women are little and small, and like it's just I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't.
She hasn't even started reading out the notes to this yet.
No.
So,
anyway, that's like the
buckle up.
context. That's the context. My beef with the hardest geezer.
It's just the pre-rant.
Oh, this was like Christmas when this article came out, because I fucking knew it.
And thanks to about the 5 people that sent it in as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, just another bit of a thing. I tried listening to his audiobook. It was free on Spotify, so I thought I'd give it a listen. And that was, I got through the first few pages, and that was it, because it was this same like, oh, this is how I became so tough. I'm like, oh, just give over. What? Like, give over? Stop. Just be a human being. Just be a normal human being with emotions and feelings and fears and, you know, all these. Anyway, is everything wrong with how men feel like they have to be in society? It's everything, and it harms everyone, and I have no time for it. Anyway,
do some reading.
Yeah. So this is about hardest geezer. What's his name? Russ or something, isn't it? Is it Russ?
Cook.
Russ Cook. That's it. This is about his challenge that he's on at the moment to run across New Zealand. Now, firstly, this quote-unquote challenge is essentially a brand deal. So his run across Africa, that was like sponsored. That was for charity or something, wasn't it?
It was charity. He raised £1 million. That was nice. Lovely.
Yeah, it was charity. Okay, yeah. So great. Yeah. So he's doing it for charity. Absolutely fantastic. £1 million. Brilliant. Even I, who am the biggest hardest geezer hater, I can say fantastic. Yeah, that's brilliant. Raising money for charity, even if you are a knob. But this run across New Zealand is essentially a brand deal. So the financial details have not been exposed, but it's a promotional campaign that's backed by 100% Pure New Zealand, which is the country's tourism authority. So it's basically, you know, when he's doing his social media updates,
it's a job.
Really nice, like, yeah, you get these really nice like drone shots and professional photos and stuff that are basically promoting New Zealand as a country to go visit, which is, you know, fair enough, whatever. So this is where the controversy comes from. So when he was doing his year-long traverse across Africa, it was often quite chaotic. It was more a communal effort, so he was frequently joined by other runners, and he documented his daily progress with spontaneous and unfiltered updates. And I think a lot of you listening, and myself included, I can remember when he was doing the run across Africa, and I can remember the updates and the videos and the people joining him and all those sorts of things. But the New Zealand project is notably more reserved than this. So, like I said, his posts have focused on scenic landscapes and cultural moments, which is understandable because, again, it's about promoting the country as a tourist destination, and they've been labelled as advertisements on sites like Instagram. So this is, I think, the law in the UK, but it's sort of the law in other countries as well, that if something's an advertisement, you have to have a little thing that tells you it's an advertisement. And the tone has sort of shifted from something that's more adventurous to something that's more transactional. So that's the first bit. That's the context. This is something he's being paid to do as a sort of commercial activity rather than raising money for charity. And then to make matters worse, the big thing has been his updates have been missing a lot of data. So his Strava updates have been missing a lot of data. So his early posts were delayed by quite a few days, which is quite unusual because you'd think when you finished a day, you'd just upload the data from that day. And there's been no maps or detailed tracking data, which just seems bizarre to me to not have a map when you're running across the fucking country, you know? So obviously this caused a few followers to question what he's been doing. And he explained in a March 19th comment that this was due to syncing issues and Garmin's navigation mode. Now, he's got this like very fancy watch, this very fancy Garmin that's like $1,000, I think. I can't remember the name of it now. But
yeah,
basically,
it's a 700 quid Garmin.
Yeah. So people were saying on Strava, it's not a syncing issue. There shouldn't be any syncing issue that stops maps and the data they're looking for from appearing. You've had to go in and stop those maps from appearing.
There are some people saying that apparently, I don't know, there's a thing with Garmin that if you use the navigation mode, it can alter what puts up on Strava, but that doesn't feel likely. If we're a 700 quid watch, I don't think you should be messing with things like that.
No, that's what other people who had the same watch were saying. We're like, there's no way you've done something to stop these maps from appearing. The other thing that's quite unusual is he's not really doing any sort of real-time tracking, or even not real-time, like regular updates in terms of tracking. So for local runners that are hoping to join him for a few kilometres, or fans that want to cheer him on, there's no way to locate him. Which, again, maybe that's a choice because he's increased in popularity and fame since his Africa thing. So maybe that's a choice. He doesn't want people there distracting him, perhaps. But it is a sharp contrast to previous runs where public tracking was a core part of the experience. But maybe there's more of an explanation for that, perhaps. And then some of the other details that users noticed on Strava. So the heart rate trends remained flat despite varied steep terrain. So his heart rate has pretty much remained the same despite elevation changes and so on. Abrupt simultaneous changes in heart rate, pace and cadence, which some speculated could indicate activity switches or stops. And cadence and stride data suggesting a running stride length of over 6 feet, nearly triple the average.
Yeah, it's very interesting. There's a really good video. I was just looking for it then. A really good video from a channel called Film My Run, where a guy kind of really lays it out very well. And there's lots of he uses data. He shows you some of these graphs, like the heart rate and elevation chart together just does not make any sense. And there's other bits where it shows, very long sections and the heart rate is just incredibly consistent. Cadence is incredibly consistent over a really long time. And it just does not look like running. We all looked at enough Strava charts by now. You can kind of tell when it doesn't look like running and there's things like that. But it's interesting, looking at the comments, most of the comments are in defense of Russ Cook, which I found very interesting. I think people are really bought into that. They liked the thing that he did. They like him and they just want to defend. But I'm like, yeah, but there's some really compelling stuff. Like when you're uploading your data days late without most of the key data, and then a lot of that data is really strange. I feel like people are jumping to his defense very quickly. He makes a good comparison with a guy from about 10 years ago who did kind of similar massive ridiculous challenges running across Europe and all kinds of things, and they just got madder and madder and faker because he just kind of had to keep it up. Now, even if he is faking all this, I mean, it's kind of a strange, but he's being paid. It's actually the point of it. It's not a challenge in itself. He's not the first person to do it. He won't be the quickest person to do it. He's being paid to promote New Zealand. And I guess if that's what it does, then he's achieved it. But it's still just an odd move. It's just the whole thing's just odd.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand why would you not upload accurate data?
Especially when some of his defence is, I'm not a watch nerd, so I don't know. I'm like, but come on.
But you must be able to see on Strava that it's not uploaded properly. So why don't you address that straight away? Why are you just being reactive?
Perhaps the watch is being given to someone else and they're uploading it for him and taking away certain things or hiding certain things, or I don't know. It's just
it's very, very odd. And you know, his whole fame around the first person to run the length of Africa was a load of bullshit as well.
Yeah,
because
he just wasn't
the first person.
Yeah, he did it the long way around, but he still says, even though he's been brought up in multiple interviews, well, this other guy did it before you, and I think again he's kind of dismissed it like, I'm not really interested in all of that. Yeah, but he still calls himself the first person to run the length of Africa, and he's not. Yeah. Very simply, there's two people have done it already. Yeah. So even just that on its own, he's just got no kind of respect for the things that have gone before.
No. And he went for a run with Rishi Sunak, lest we forget. Yeah. So, yeah. I am not surprised. It's just bad vibes. I've had bad vibes about him from the very beginning. And when I saw this post come up, I was like, thank you. I am vindicated. I knew he was just something going on with him. Bad. It
was always going to be a thing, though. Once you've run like 10,000 miles, whatever it was, over the course of a year, what do you do next? It can't. You're not going to. You're not going to get a normal job. Whatever you do next has to be, in some way, bigger or better or more extreme, or it has to be something. It has to always be an edge. It always has to be a gimmick. It can't be anything simple.
Yeah, and he's not like I don't think he's ever done a marathon or anything. I think he's done a half marathon once or something like that.
I think the video was something like he'd done pretty much one ultra and then decided to run all of Africa, which is kind of bonkers that he had the ability to do that. But I think that's again as part of this video, which I do recommend you watch. It's only about 10-11 minutes, but it's like he's not part of the ultra community, yet he is held up as the representative of the ultra community, but he doesn't really have anything to do. He doesn't do any races. He doesn't run with anyone else. So he's not a good representation really of the community. And so I think some people are kind of maybe a little bitter about that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, we rub our hands together.
Everything I learn about him is against my will.
One of the people that sent this to us as well, sorry, I can't remember who it was because I said there's quite a few people. They sent this and they just put the message and there's more to come, which I'm like, oh, I don't know if they have some kind of inside knowledge there, but we look forward to it.
Oh, of course there's more to come. I'm not surprised at all. Anyway, Stuart, are you running the length of any countries?
No, unless there's, maybe if there's some very small countries, which I'm sure there are. Yeah, probably like the Vatican's only a couple of miles, isn't it? Basically what I mean by that is I'm having a crack at a 5K again. I'm trying again. My PB is just under 20 minutes. I need to do it at least once more in my life. If I can get 19:59, if I can get under 20 minutes twice, I think I'll be okay. But I need to I can't just leave it as once. That'd be terrible. So I'm going to have a go at that next week. I think that's pretty much it. Maybe some more mountains because I keep trying to do more mountains. How about you?
Nothing. I don't think. I think I need to find some more rocks, some more stones to look at.
If anyone could recommend some good rocks in South Wales and some historical monuments, that'd be lovely.
I'll go see them. That's my thing at the moment, is to go see some rocks and just come back and report complete false information because I can't remember what I've seen or what it was about.
Excellent. That does sound really good.
Yeah. Let me know. If you've enjoyed this bullshit, please visit runningsbs.com to see the show notes and links from this episode and the whole back catalogue, as well as links to our Patreon, merch store, and social medias.
Thanks.
Bye. Eat the rich.